What is going on, folks? Welcome back to another episode of the Turnpike Titans podcast. As always, I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Vin and Jarrett. So we knew this day would come. I think we can all agree we are surprised that this is the show where our inevitable doom returned. But nevertheless, it's a loss Monday, and we need to do our best to collect our thoughts and try to put a positive spin on this, as we are still the number one seed in the AFC, as well as number one seed in the AFC South. But this was bad. This was really, really bad. So before I give my 2 cents, we'll start with the two of you as always. Vin, where do you start?
I guess the only positive is we only had two players get injured yesterday. And then maybe Buffalo lost and we kept our lead on them, but then Indy gained the lead in the division. So there's really no one way you could spin it to take away a positive. It was, I said it last week, we can't overlook these teams. And I don't even know if we overlooked them. I just think nothing went our way. You know what I mean? From start to finish. Even when they took the early lead, and then we drove it right back down, Tannehill's interception. Then they came back down and, scored again, and then the muff punt. It's just, you had that feeling that, it was going that way. But another takeaway, I guess, could be that we didn't quit. We didn't give up. We made it a game at the end. So whether they're a good team or a bad team, we don't have any quit in us. And I think that's a testament to our coach. But yeah, it's hard to take away any sort of positive from yesterday. Baltimore pulled one out of their ass, which would have been huge if they would have lost too. So I'll leave it to Jarrett to finish up for me.
Just yesterday's loss was bad. I mean, but we've all seen this as Titans fans. So we know when this team has a letdown, we just sense it as, Titan fans. We always play to the level of our opponent, but this offense has really struggled with no rhythm over the last couple of weeks, and you can blame it on Henry not being there, but I strictly blame it on your boy Todd Downing, and the coaching with the weekly game plan is, our offense always starts slow against bad teams. And yesterday was one of the worst halves of football I've seen all year. I mean, just put things in perspective. The Texans' first punt came at the 2-minute warning yesterday. And that's just crazy to me. I mean, at home against a divisional opponent, starting slow is just unacceptable. And all throughout Twitter, you've seen yesterday, people putting a lot of blame on Tannehill. And, for me, I'm a Tannehill supporter, and I can't put the blame on him strictly because he's out there running the offense with practice squad guys and wide receivers 5, 6, and 7 out there running routes. And some of the throws that he had, were his fault, and there were bad throws. But, on that one Des Fitzpatrick interception, he had two guys in the same spot. You got guys running patterns, the same patterns, and that's not gonna, fly with him. So, he's a proven quarterback, but, for us, it's a new supporting cast for him every single week, and there's no rhythm with the offense. I mean, one time in the game, he had Dontrell Hilliard, Des Fitzpatrick, Chester Rogers, Anthony Ferkser, and, Nick Westbrook-Akina.
Just stop. Depressing to hear.
I know, it's just, it's crazy, but, the defense didn't record a sack all game, but, it had a bright spot, not keeping us in the game for the second half. But, I don't know. This game was just ugly all around.
All right. So here's where I stand on this football game. First of all, I think there's two major focal points or two individuals to blame most for the way this football game finished. Number one would be Ryan Tannehill. Okay. You can say what you want about the supporting cast he has around him. He completed a pass to 8 different players yesterday. Okay. That's a difficult thing to do no matter who is on your team. Okay. There were players that were available to catch footballs on the team yesterday. Nick Westbrook had 100 yards receiving. All right. You had almost 50 from AJ, even though he was banged up. Hilliard gave you almost 50. The players were not the problem around Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill threw balls to the other team at an alarming rate. There's no way around it. You just got to say it like it is. He had his worst day as a Titan, and it happened to come
100%.
happened to come against the worst team in the NFL. So that is what's most alarming about all of this. Now, listen, I understand the weather and the conditions were not ideal, but they were the same weather and conditions for Tyrod Taylor, who did not throw a single pick or get sacked once, and also who rushed for 2 touchdowns. So I'm not going to put into effect anything related to weather as to why this game transpired the way it did. The second individual who is to blame for this finish would be Todd Downing. I mean, it just is. With the way the conditions are, you can't have your quarterback throwing 52 times. You just can't. It doesn't. You actually had a somewhat manageable running game yesterday, and he did nothing with it. And the times you did run, you ran at the worst times. Like there was one instance, I think it was still in the first half, where and we're on Houston side of the 50, and it's a 2nd and 12, and we're running the ball. And we're down like 12, 13 points. It doesn't make any sense. And he just had an abysmal day. Just an abysmal day. When your quarterback is struggling, throwing the ball outside of the hash marks, you need to adjust and figure something out to give him opportunities to get easy throws, whether that be a screen, which we were doing well with all day and we just went away from, whether that be just quick slant routes, whatever you need to do to eliminate the opportunity for your quarterback to get picked off, you need to do. And we were just like, you know what? Fuck it. Just let him keep throwing it to the sideline where he's just getting absolutely wrecked and making the Houston Texans look like they're the best defense in the NFL. He had a horrible, horrible day. And I think that's what's more concerning to me than actually Ryan Tannehill. I tweeted it yesterday that we need to have a discussion. All I want to do is have a discussion about how poorly he's playing this year. I'm still backing him. I still said he's my quarterback today, yesterday, and tomorrow. But he is taking a huge step back, and nobody can deny it. And I don't want to hear about the surrounding cast because the surrounding cast isn't forcing him to throw into triple covers. It's not.
When you got guys in the same spots, I mean, there are some guys. He doesn't have a supporting cast for the whole season so far. Everyone's different.
Every
week,
I won't bitch about the supporting cast all year, but I will bitch about it from yesterday's point of view because, it was putrid. You've seen him trying to talk to Fitzpatrick on the sideline.
Yeah.
He's running lazy routes. I hear you, Sal. 4 interceptions is bad, but
he threw for 323.
Keep in mind the score dictated how much he threw the ball as well. We were down 19-0 at a certain point. And I hear you. We shouldn't get to the point where we have to throw 50 times because we should establish the run. We all said it last week. We wanted to see somebody get 15, 20 touches, see what the fuck they could do. But we refused to do that unless their name is Derrick Henry. So we got down 19-0 and it forced Downing to call all those passing plays, and it didn't work out. And I said it the other week when we were talking about Tannehill too. He's pressing. We're putting him in bad spots, and he's trying to make up for it and compensate with it. And it's it's starting to really show. But not that I'm going to give him a pass. He did make some bad throws, but we might have to get all 3 of us to fucking suit up next week. Yeah. Because come on, we lost. We don't know if AJ's playing. We might give him a rest because we got the bye week coming up. Exactly. So and what's his name got hurt again with the hamstring, Marcus Johnson. So we're gonna be down to Chester's, Rogers, Westbrook, Fitzpatrick. Who knows if fucking Kinsey's gonna get snaps now? It's to the point where we don't even have Cam Batson to come into play because he's hurt too. Yeah. So we are down to absolutely nobody. So I know you said you don't want to hear about the supporting cast, but that's as bad as any NFL team has rostered.
Listen, if AJ Brown's healthy and Julio Jones is healthy, does he throw 4 picks yesterday? It doesn't matter. I don't know, but I wouldn't say definitively no, because I'm sorry. The one punt it basically was another arm punt yesterday on the goal line. That was just a miserable throw. The receiver had no opportunity to catch that. He had 2 guys on his back. And that was a game-changing play. There were two plays that were absolutely game-changing yesterday. One of which was nothing to do with Tannehill, and that was the muff punt. That put the game away right there. I mean, they went 2 plays later. They score another touchdown. We're down 3 scores, I believe, at that point. That was it. But that interception he threw at the goal line, I mean, that doesn't matter who's there. I mean, that ball was never getting caught by anyone with a Titan logo on their helmet. And that's just the thing that we need to figure out and what's causing him to make decisions like that he wasn't making previously. Could the supporting cast have some sort of impact on how he's forcing the ball? Maybe, but this guy's a seasoned veteran. I mean, Jesus Christ, this is the worst team in the NFL. And our quarterback had his worst career game as a Titan against the worst team in the NFL. That's alarming. It's got to be alarming for everyone. And I'm not saying fuck it, Logan Woodside for the last 8 games. That's ridiculous. But I'm just saying we need to stop being blind to the fact that if we want to reach our ultimate goal this year, which is to win a Super Bowl, we need leaps and bounds better from Ryan Tannehill than we're getting through the first half of the season with Derrick Henry without him. And that's really what all it boils down to, because you can make an argument that he's never really been, prime time during a playoff game outside of maybe Baltimore. But other than that, he's been less than stellar, very, very less than stellar throughout his career as a Titan in the playoffs. So we expect more out of him. We hope to see more out of him. But what were you guys' thoughts about our defense yesterday overall? Jared?
I thought it was honestly, I mean, I know we let up 22 points, but I don't count one touchdown against them. So really, I feel like they kind of only let up 15. I mean, our special teams put them in bad spots. Tannehill's interception put them in a bad spot where they returned it to our 6 and we held them to a field goal. So I know we didn't garner pressure on them. We didn't get a sack, but in the same breath, considering the circumstances, our special teams and offense put us in 22 points, they kind of did us a favor and kept us in the game. So I think they've cooled off since they got, everyone was talking about, how good they were. I don't know if it got to their heads a little bit. We are missing Bud Dupree. But yeah, it obviously has to be better, but they kept us in the game in the same breath.
Yeah, like I said before, the defense didn't, record a sack all game, but they really kept us in the second half. One of the most underrated tweets by Austin Stanley today. Shout out Austin Stanley. He tweeted that the Titans defense held the Texans to a total of 7 yards and 0 first downs on their last 6 possessions. Texans had 13 points off of turnovers and only gained 1 total yard on those scores. So without those 5 turnovers from our offense, the defense was stellar yesterday. So I'm not worried at all about the defense. But there's one thing, like Sal tweeted earlier in this week, without Bud Dupree, there is a difference. And even without David Long, there is a difference when, with the pressure with this team. So I would like to see them back healthy, very soon in the near future and keep things rolling.
Yeah, no, of course, 100%. For those of you who don't know, which you might not realize without really taking a good hard look at this football game, we outgained Houston by twice as many yards. Okay, we finished this game with 420 total yards. Houston had 190. Okay, so that is why, in my opinion, there is zero debate. Ryan Tannehill is fully to blame for this performance because he is the maestro for these turnovers, with the exception of the muff punt, which I said it was a monster.
We gave them the ball twice inside our 10-yard line.
13 points of the 22 came. I
understand this, fellas. I get it, but this guy had an opportunity to win this game or to take the lead or to get very close to a tie in this game more times than I can count. This football team, not counting on third downs, but overall had 26 first downs. Okay, that's a lot of first downs in an hour of football. Okay, you can't put up more than 13 points on the worst team in football when you gain 26 first downs. That is unacceptable on all levels. Okay, it's unacceptable. And like I said, Downing is another focal point to blame 100% because his play calling made 0 sense. Okay, Foreman's getting 10 yards of carry in the first half on 1 possession. And then, we're on a 3rd and 1. Let's give it to Adrian twice. It doesn't make any sense. And I understand the whole point. Okay, well, he was more rested. Okay, he's 10 years older than the guy, though. So I don't understand. Yeah, he's more rested, but he still doesn't have the pop and the juice that Foreman had and Hilliard had.
Hilliard came out swinging yesterday.
He
Hit
did.
the whole hard.
He really did. Next man up. That's what we keep saying. And these guys are showing
Yeah,
up.
well, we need to pick a fucking man. You know what I mean? And let them see what they could do so they can get in a rhythm. Because I agree with you with Foreman. I actually, I'm banged the fuck up in fantasy, but I had to start Foreman yesterday, and I felt kind of decent about it. I'm like, you know what? He's due for a score. Then earlier in the game, he was picking up yards, and then they just stopped giving it to him.
Yeah.
That 4th and inches with Adrian Peterson, that was a turning point too, as well. That stalled a drive that we had inside their part of the field.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's hard to get in the rhythm when you have a rotating body of receivers and offensive linemen and running backs every single week. So I hear you. Tannehill needs to pick up the slack. I think that's where your frustration is when your team's down, your quarterback needs to pick you the fuck up and win a game on his own.
Especially when you're facing the worst team in football at home.
Yeah, well, I would argue Detroit's the worst team in football.
Nah.
But
you think Houston's tying the Steelers in Pittsburgh? No, never.
No, the NFL is, how wild the NFL is.
I know, but
either way, that's neither here nor there. They're both bottom 2-3 teams.
Yeah, very, very.
You know what I mean? So we have to win that game, and I think that's where your frustration with Tannehill lies. Is we want to see him sack the fuck up and win a game on his own. And honestly, I think
this was the perfect game. This was the perfect game to shut up all of the people who can't put us in the elite level teams because they don't believe in Ryan Tannehill. And for us who've been backing the guy day in, day out, this was just a T-ball for him to say, hey, you know what, jackass? I don't got Derrick Henry. I don't have Julio Jones. I got a fucking A.J. Brown who gets hurt getting pushed out of bounds. I'm still going to be able to throw 300 plus yards, 3 touchdowns, and be the leader of this football team. And he did the exact opposite. So, that like I said, I don't want to harp on this long because, again, this is still my quarterback. This is still a guy I support fully. But people need to stop giving him so much slack because, Christ almighty. This was just, to call this a nightmare would be insulting nightmares. Okay. So, we're going to regroup. I personally believe by the week's end, there should be some sort of veteran president wide receiver that we should bring in. It sounds like a cliche at this point, but God almighty, we're running out of options, people. You want to go into fucking New England with Nick Westbrook being the guy you're going to throw to 15 times? I don't. I'm sorry.
Which I think he has the capability of being a 3 receiver.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's showed strides the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's a big fucking guy. He's a solid route runner. He's, decent speed, but yeah, I agree. If he's your focal point, shit. But I honestly don't think who are you going to bring in?
I've been saying it for weeks. I said Golden Tate since the start of this podcast.
You don't know if he's in shape. You don't know. Golden Tate hasn't played football in a year.
So what?
Yeah,
Adrian Peterson didn't either. He stayed in shape.
Yeah, I hear you.
It can't hurt. It can't.
Exactly.
Before Odell went to LA, I was, wasn't my option. But at this point, listen, guys, this New England game is monstrous. Okay, if they win this game, they're the number 1 seed in the AFC. New England,
we could possibly drop all the way to 8.
Yeah.
No. 8.
No. We have 2 games up on Indy still.
No.
Yeah, but I'm talking.
We could be 8.
Well, you got Cincy that has 4 losses. The who else has 4 losses? I just saw. Everyone's got 4. Everyone has 4 losses.
No. We beat Buffalo.
Go to 4 at worst. We'd go to 4
at worst. But it'll be almost like an 8-way tie. Everyone's got 4 losses. We got conference and division.
So even if we lost and Baltimore, New England, and KC won,
we'd go to 4.
We would go to 3. We'd go to 3 because we'd have the same record as KC.
Oh yeah,
tiebreaker.
Yeah,
we don't play Baltimore. So but again, this game is huge,
especially because you feel like if we can get through this, then we have the bye week to get fucking Julio back, AJ healthy.
So you can't
everybody healthy.
Can't take this game lightly. You have to go into this game really all guns blazing, and there are no guns blazing right now for this football team. Not one. AJ's hurt. Okay. You're getting x-rays on your ribs. You're not playing next week. I'm sorry. He's not playing.
Well, especially with the bye coming up too.
Yeah. But I get that.
Get him 2 weeks of rest.
And if that's going to be what needs to happen in order to get him fully ready for the remainder of the season, fine. But you gotta come up with some solution, because this wide receiving core is not winning that game next week. They're not. And you need someone, whoever that might be. And it obviously probably is not going to happen at this point. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Who the fuck are they going to bring in Tuesday or Wednesday to play Sunday? It's not going to happen. But it's like, it's frustrating because there were opportunities. Odell was there, man. I don't give a shit. You should have got him. I'm sorry. Fuck it. Now what? You're screwed. So, I mean, it's just frustrating. It really is, because this team has what's necessary to win. It's just they really were very nonchalant about the depth when the writing was on the wall a long time ago, and now here we are. So I don't know.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, not to beat a dead horse or anything, but I mean, heading into the draft, actually, I was a big Elijah Moore guy. I didn't think that you know what I mean? Look what he's doing with the Jets. Imagine him on this offense to complement AJ and Julio, and especially his boys with AJ. Like, I thought it was the perfect fit. I wasn't mad at Farley because of his potential. And, we can always take a cornerback, but we spent money on cornerback and free agency. We didn't have Julio yet. So I thought, go Elijah Moore, get that guy that can stretch the field to get off that play action. So, I mean, I know it's neither here nor there now, but I mean, we got to do better jobs of, having that depth there when things like this happen, because we're learning first fucking hand what it's like to be the most banged up team in the NFL. And this would be the most typical Tennessee Titans thing to go win next week with nobody on offense against a humming New England team on the road. But I mean, I feel worse about going into this game than I did the Rams game. And I know we won that game, but I feel even more deflated this week, going into this week, than I felt going in after the Derrick Henry broken foot.
That is because we just lost to one of the worst teams in the league. But you got to really think about it. The Patriots are kind of beatable. They have one really good win this year, and one game, I think they beat a team over 500, and it was the Chargers. Other than that, they're 1-3 against teams that are 500. So
yeah,
this team is very beatable. So
I agree.
They embarrassed the Browns.
Browns are in shambles right now.
I know, but I'm saying they embarrassed them. I don't care who you are. It's hard to shut out a team in the NFL. They shut out a team on the road.
They did score 7, but it might as well have been a shutout. It was 45-7. They might as well shut them out. Yeah, but it was an embarrassment.
Okay.
No, but I hear what you're saying. I'll tell you what, though. I mean, this defense is a hell of a lot better than the Houston Texans. And, if our problems at quarterback continue, this is going to be a disaster. Okay. That's what I'm saying. So are they beatable? 100%. But when you're going to a game and Nick Westbrook-Akina is your number one receiver and you don't know what the fuck you're doing with running backs, you really have no idea. A guy gets hot and you just don't let him play for the next, 4 downs. It could get really ugly. Now, again, like you both said, could this be the most Titans thing ever? And we go out there, and whether it's stingy or we take care of business easily, which I don't think that there's a better chance of Christ returning to earth, but of course we can win this game. I just don't know where it's coming from, because you have no receivers, you have no running backs, really. I mean, come on, we really don't have any running. We have some guys that got a little pop here and there, but they would be on a roster if they were legit. And we got a defense who took a step back. You could say what they want. Defense didn't break. They bent. They didn't break. But those 2 runs in the end zone by Taylor were unacceptable. I mean, really, they were unacceptable. You got to know that this guy has a little bit of mobility, and the containment coverage was just abysmal. And that was really the difference in the game. You had a couple of chances to hold him to 3 instead of 6, and they couldn't do it. And you don't get 1 sack against the worst team, one of the worst teams in football. I don't give a shit. Tyrod Taylor is 32. Okay. He's not I know he's still got some ability, but he's not Michael Vick at 25. Okay, he's he can be sacked, and our interior lineman just didn't really get the job done. And Harold Landry was non-existent. And again, like I said, Dupree is a difference maker, and I don't want to hear any more slander about him from anyone because you really saw the impact that he had yesterday. So quickly, let's do it's a pretty easy one if you ask me, but let's get into it anyway. Your number one and your bottom one for this game yesterday, Jarrett.
Obviously, it's got to be Nick Westbrook-Akina for me. Guy stepped up huge when we needed him the most, and with the villain of the game, everyone's going to say it's Tannehill. Obviously, has to step up, but I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to put the blame fully on him just yet. So we'll see what happens.
All right, Vin.
I hate to be boring, but I got to go verbatim, same exact. Akina, had stepped up when we needed him to. But I know I was defending him earlier, but yeah, he's got to be better. And I think it's for this reason why I think Sal's a little mad at the guy is in times like this when we need him to win a game for us, he hasn't done it yet. So yeah, he's got to be the zero of the day. And but what I will give someone like him is he stepped up at the podium after and took full blame for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I still think he's a leader and he has the ability. And he's struggling right now, but I'm still in the guy's corner. But as far as yesterday, yeah, that's a game you have to step up for us and win.
Yeah, 100%. Bottom is definitely Tannehill. Don't get me wrong, but I know there's nothing that can be done about it, and I'm not saying. I mean, listen, when you're hurt, you're hurt. But I am his biggest fan.
This is decimated.
Well, no. Well, no, I'm trying to build up to an eventual point here.
My bad.
No. You're fine. I love this guy to death. I got his picture up right above my head every fucking night when I play video games. I love AJ Brown to death. I love him to death. But Jesus Christ, I mean, he gets fucking hurt every fucking week now, and it's just to the point where it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. I'm not going to put him in the bottom list by any means, but I just got to put it out there how incredibly frustrating this is that we got to deal with this every single week. And this guy is
it dates back to last year too. I mean, I know he had the knee, but I mean, it seemed like last year it was the same thing.
Injuries is definitely taking a toll on this team, and it's starting to show.
So we got to figure shit out and get him as healthy as we can, because it's going to be just such a miserable feeling if we miss out on our ultimate goal when it's there for the taking solely due to injuries. I mean, that's just the worst feeling in the world for a team that's never held that trophy, and to have an opportunity like we do this year where the NFL is so ass backwards and we have a defense and we have the best running back in the world and we have two receivers that have been, at the highest level of the league, and we can't do it because they can't produce on the field due to injury. It would be really unsettling. But nevertheless, we're going to go into this New England game with little expectations and hope that we can pull some magic out of our ass again and get some luck maybe from McNair. The ghost of Steve McNair can help us, because we're going to need everything we can get
to the loss.
Yeah. So any final thoughts, fellas, before we wrap up?
I just got to go right into New England. You just got to show up to these games, man. Come in healthy, pressure Mac Jones, and just stop the dink and dunk and pass. That's been killing us for the past couple of weeks. These dinks and dunks by Trevor Siemian and now Tyrod Taylor. Mac Jones is not a mobile guy, so we keep him in the pocket, just pressure him, and just continue to establish the run this week. And have Downey actually do something. So looking forward to that this week. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I want this team just to show some balls. I want to win this game, obviously, but if it doesn't go our way, let us fucking show some balls and let the players step up. Because we're gonna end up potentially needing them. Every every week I want to tell myself, the silver lining is we'll get healthy at the right time in a perfect world. Henry, Julio, Dupree, everybody. But it almost seems like as each week goes on, you can't even think about that. You got to worry about getting out that week because now Marcus Johnson's hurt. AJ got even more hurt than he already is. So it's
Tier Tart got carted off.
Yeah. Thank God Naquan Jones is playing all right.
He got banged up too yesterday.
No.
Yeah, he finished the game? No. Well,
He's
that's
banged
neither
up.
here nor there. But yeah, I just want this team to show some fucking balls, and Tannehill needs to make some more plays for us. So that's what
All eyes are on the offense this week because the defense, I think, is going to step up and play well, just like they did in the second half of this game. It's all eyes on Todd Downing and Ryan Tannehill this week.
Yeah,
Plain and simple.
I agree.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I think they're, they might try to throw David Long in there if he can go because of how the severity, or how big the implications are in this football game for our seeding. So, because originally I said, hey, hold them out maybe to the bye, but now we really got to try to win this game. So if he's good, I think they might try to get him in there, which will help certainly. But this is a game where, Tannehill has an opportunity to really right a lot of wrongs because I didn't really have us winning next week. I had us winning this week. So if we got to flip it around, if that's how it has to work, I'm fine with it. Again, this has been the most ass backwards season, not just for the NFL, but for us in general. I mean, we're beating all the teams we shouldn't, and we're losing the games we should win. So,
story of our lives.
Yeah, right. It really is. Outside of the Jacksonville game, every game we've been favored to win, we lose. So it's like it's ridiculous. If that's how it has to work, that's how it has to work. But Ryan Tannehill, he's got to he needs to really impress us, or else we're going to be in big trouble. If he has 2-3 picks next week, and I'm going to lose my fucking mind. I really am. And I don't want to do that because, my mind is very fragile. So let's get healthy. Let's maybe bring Golden Tate in. I don't know, 22nd. I don't know if that's going to work, but, we'll say a prayer. Just anyone. Bring back fucking Dorial Beckham. I don't give a shit. Drew Bennett. I don't care. Anyone. Kenny Britt. Bring someone back.
Kenny Britt, Jersey's finest.
Yes. I tweeted to him at the beginning of the season, and he says the only two teams I'd come back for were the Rams or Titans. So I don't know. He's like 33. I don't really.
He can't be that old. Yeah.
Can't be that old. He's still 6'3", I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So we'll see. Make sure whoever you're listening to this, watching this, whether it be YouTube, make sure you like, subscribe. We're trying to build a brand here nonetheless. And we need all the help we can get. So we want to get the subscribers up a little bit. We're slacking a bit. We got only 33 weeks in. I'm not happy with that. So let's definitely bump that up. And if you're listening on the podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, do your best to share the show, let people know about us. And so we, the more we grow, the better the show is going to get. So that's it. We're going to go into next week, and you guys know the deal. Tighten up.
Tighten up.
Peace.